house and grabbed my keys and rushed out to my car. When I opened the door, the cold air outside hit my cheeks, making them turn pink. I got into my car and put my keys into the ignition and immediately started making my way over to Kokichi's house. I have to make this day perfect for him. He's always saying that he doesn't want me to do anything and that I don't have to do anything for him. But being his boyfriend, I know that he was lying. We exchanged house keys last year, so I quietly opened the door, and it didn't seem like he was awake yet. Taking a sigh of relief, I walked in slowly, closing the door, and made my way up to his room after placing some of the things I brought for today on the table. Kokichi was soundly sleeping while he was clinging onto his pillow. Soft snores escaped his lips. I smiled to myself and placed a kiss on his forehead before heading back downstairs. I looked at the bags on the table and started to make breakfast for Kokichi. I was trying to be as quiet as I could be. I decided to make food at his house so it would be fresh and hot when he woke up. I smiled, feeling a blush coming to my cheeks, knowing what I had planned for Kokichi.
I slowly woke up to the sound of frying and sizzling from downstairs. I blinked and rubbed my eyes a couple of times, hugging my pillow one last time before slipping out of bed. I was still wearing my pajamas, which was just a long shirt with a small pair of shorts underneath. I groggily walked over to the door, knowing it was probably just Saichi downstairs. When I got down the stairs, I saw Saichi in front of the stove wearing a dark blue suit, making me feel underdressed. But I knew he wouldn't care that much, and I was too tired to give a shit. I moved over to him and wrapped my arms around his torso and rested my head on his back.
"Good morning, Kokichi,"
he said with his unfairly angelic voice, making me swoon. How is he such an angel? How the hell did this angel end up with someone like me?
"Good morning,"
I said with a groan, not liking how tired I sounded. I didn't get that much sleep last night because Dice needed me to help them organize the next couple of jobs. And it took a lot longer than I thought it would. Usually I was awake at first, but because of last night, I must have slept in, to an extent. I mean, it is almost 11, but seeing as I'm usually up at 5 a.m., this is a big difference.
"I'm just making you some crepes. You can go sit down, or go back to sleep if you want, while I finish up,"
he said, putting his hand on top of mine, caressing the back of my hand, slowly moving to caress each of my fingers. I laughed and tightened my grip on his torso, silently telling him I wasn't going to move. He laughed slightly before he went back to finishing breakfast.
"I love you,"
I whispered into his back before placing a gentle kiss on his back.
"I love you so much, Kokichi."
He whispered back before he turned to face me and wrapped his arms around me, making me let out a content sigh. He rubbed my back up and down, making me just want to fall asleep on him right then and there. I mumbled into his shirt before he pulled out of the embrace, just enough to where he could see my face. He took my hand and led me to the table and sat me down on the chair after he draped his jacket over the back. I sat down and took the sleeves of the jacket in my hands and moved them to my face, taking in his scent. I felt a blush come to my cheeks and covered them with the jacket. Saichi looked at me like I was the only thing he wanted, before bringing the food over and taking a seat next to me.
"How late did you stay up last night?"
he asked while I leaned my head on his shoulder.
"I needed to help Dice, and it took way longer than I thought it would."
I said with a small yawn before eating the food that was on the plate in front of me.
"That makes sense, seeing how tired you are,"
he said quietly before he started eating.
"Thanks for this, Saichi, even though you didn't have to,"
I said before he cut me off.
"Don't thank me yet. We still have the whole day ahead of us. I want to make this day special for both of us,"
he said, taking my hand in his, placing a kiss on each of my fingers before he placed one delicately on my knuckles, letting it linger there longer than the rest.
"Oh, what else do you have planned?"
I asked, looking up at him.
"It's a surprise,"
He whispered in my ear before kissing my cheeks and letting his head rest on my shoulder.
Well then, I'm looking forward to it,
I said, finishing up my food before getting out of my seat.
I'm going to go and get ready so you're not the only one who's dressed up.
I walked away before Saichi could say anything else and walked up to my room. The outfit I had chosen was a dark purple suit and some black shoes with a tie. I put it on and put my hair back into a ponytail and looked at myself in the mirror. After deciding that I looked good, I went back to Saichi.
So, where are we going first?
I asked, seeing him blush at my appearance, making my face turn a light shade of pink.
I wanted to start off by watching a movie, so let's go downstairs. I already set everything up.
Saichi said the last few things away from breakfast before he made his way over to me and led me down the stairs into my basement, or what we call the movie room. Saichi had definitely prepared this room before. Everything was organized and there were lights all around the room. The couch was already covered in pillows and blankets. I could feel my mouth open in awe. And Saichi's hand gave mine a squeeze before he took me over to the couch. We watched maybe 3 movies while we were snuggling, and I was making commentary almost every 5 seconds. I did for this one. I wish the character would listen to what I was saying so they could be smart for once. And 2, when Saichi would laugh, it would make my heart burst with love and affection for this man. So it's totally worth it. When the last movie had finished, it was probably around 5 p.m., and Saichi pulled me up and led me back upstairs before taking me outside. It was a little chilly outside, and because it was still around winter, it was already dark outside. Saichi pulled me closer to him to keep warm, making my face hot again. He didn't say anything as we walked down the road. I wanted to ask where we were going, but knew that he wouldn't say because it was a surprise. I smiled, knowing that anything I do with Saichi is something I'll never forget. We started to get to this big building, and I was getting more and more curious with every step I took. Saichi could tell and squeezed my shoulders, trying to get me excited. Entering the building and being blinded by all the lights made my eyes close for a moment before I adjusted. I saw that all of our classmates were there from Hope's Peak, and they were all dancing and having a great time. I looked up at Saichi, who was smiling down at me. I was so shocked by this, and how he was able to put this together without me knowing. I didn't know how to react. Saichi pulled me to the dance floor as a slow song was starting to play, and took my hand in his and let the other rest on my waist. I glared at him, knowing that he made me take the girl part only to receive a playful smile. We danced for a long time, and it was mostly just me resting my head on his chest, with his arms around my back while he slowly moved around, taking small steps in a circle.
I love you, Saichi. Thank you for doing all this for me.
I said quietly into his chest, making him smile and take my head in his hands.
I have one more thing for you tonight,
he said before he pulled me out of one of the side doors into the darkness of the night. We stood out in the field of grass. It was calm and quiet, making me feel at ease. Saichi grabbed my hand and placed a ring on it before he took my other hand in his.
Kokichi Oma, I give you a promise ring. I promise I will stay by your side and love you forever. I will cherish all the moments we have together and be there to help you when you're scared. I love you to the ends of earth, so please accept this ring.
Saichi said before he bowed his head. I felt my face grow hot and tears started to pour down my face. I cupped his cheeks and made him face me.
Of course I will,
I said, pulling him into a hug.
I'm so happy I got to have this day with you,
I said into his ear, making him start to let his tears fall down his face.
This was the best day I could have wished for. Thank you, Saichi.